Okay, so first I had to take everything out of the iguana's cage. This is from the video where I did his cage. In this video, I have to move this stand twice, so I have to drain this tank down twice. This time is to reinforce the stand, which we couldn't do in its current position. I'm doing a really big water change on this tank, and when I do that, I'm now going to throw the turtles into here. Now, this will be 3 for now, but just like for, 30 minutes or so while I do this, or, not very long. But just kind of wanted to see what they do in a terrarium type setup, which these are stuff they can encounter, but yeah, now I'm going to do that real quick, just because it's kind of hard to have them in here while I'm doing a water change. I know that turtles get confused by clear things, and that's why they keep going back and forth from the front, but again, they'll only be here for a little while. Okay, as you can see, my room is a mess, and I think this means that I'm going to go to bed. I am going to go to bed now, and then I'll wake up in the morning and start working on that. Now, what we basically did was we drained the tank, moved it out here, took off those pieces of wood, cut out chunks of the wood there, and then we put a new board in that I had painted. So as you may be able to see, it's now different all the way around. So now in the morning I'll put down the 55-gallon tank. So I had to paint the area that you could see. So I just did that all around, and then I filled this tank back up and set it back up. So then tomorrow I will do a water change on this tank and start setting up this tank, which is going to take a while. Okay guys, so now I'm going to be adding substrate, which in this case is really, really fine dirt, which is kind of interesting because I've never done anything like this before, but flew the flower horn, that channel. They did it with a much, much, much smaller tank, and I want to try it with this really big tank. So I'll be putting this down and then small gravel that I have outside, and I gotta rinse the gravel, but I'll do that right after this, I think. So I'm just gonna kind of dump some in. I'm not sure how much I'll need. I put a light on the tank so you guys could see layer of it. So let's see what that does. Well, it's just filled my room with dust, so that's kind of interesting. Now let's just move it around. So this should make it so I can grow plants in here, like root plants, without actually buying proper substrate. So then I'll put rocks on top of this, and none of it floats and stuff. And I think that should be enough. I have some left over, but maybe I'll use that for other projects and stuff. Okay, I have the rocks, and now I'll be putting water in and just letting it kind of overflow while I get all the dirt and stuff off the rocks. This is actually in my bathtub. Normally I would do it outside, but it is very cold outside, and the hose is probably frozen. Now that I'm done washing it off, now I'm just adding it and making sure it's covering all the dirt. Okay guys, so I have the rocks in there, but for 2 different reasons I'm going to be setting up this 10-gallon tank. One is this is not permanent at all. That's why I'm trying to make it as trash looking as I possibly can. I mean, it works fine, but I just want it to look bad, so then I don't want to keep it at all, and I know I won't be allowed to. But for 2 reasons. One, I want to try out this heater and this filter because I got them like secondhand, and I haven't seen if they actually work yet. I cleaned them and everything. And then another reason is not just to test those out, but also I'm getting 2 mollies tomorrow, and I'm going to be setting 2 mollies up in this 10-gallon quarantine tank. But I like, if I get any other fish at all, I have a post out on Craigslist about like I'll take in fish if somebody doesn't want them, just so I can fill up my 55-gallon without buying fish, because I like rescuing animals, obviously. I got him off of Craigslist. I got all 3 of the turtles off of Craigslist. I didn't get her off of Craigslist, but I think I got her off of Facebook. And then, so yeah, that's the point of this tank. So I'm going to fill it up after I do the water change. I'm going to start filling that up and put some of the wood and stuff in there. But yeah, I'm going to take out the fish bowl of there with all the substrate and all the good beneficial bacteria. You see there's lava rock and everything in there. And I'm just going to put it into here. And then that water, it'll just kind of, there'll be some water and some stuff from this aquarium as well. So that's happening now. So I don't film putting in more water into this tank, but that fish bowl should have enough beneficial bacteria to get that 10-gallon tank started. But I filled it up when right after I filled this tank up. Okay, so now I will be getting out the filter and the heater and put them in there. I think so it can kind of cycle for a little while, even though I'll be adding, like, I don't know, I just want it to cycle, I guess. I'm going to make sure all this stuff works. So here we have the heater, which is for the 75-gallon tank, even though this is only a 55-gallon, but it was only $1 more, so we figured if we ever want to, why not? Because it has a built-in thermostat. So we have that. And then we have my filter. Now I got both of these on Amazon, and I did a video about getting them. So I think this is kind of already put together, unless I had to take it apart and put it back in the box. This thing is huge. Has that new filter smell, weirdly enough, if that's a thing, I guess. So now, gotta connect these. It's the same thing as my smaller filter, just it's bigger. It's actually too big to fit on the tank with how the back poles are on the tank, so we actually have to drain both tanks down and move those. Now I'll put them on the tank. As I just said, it's not going to be able to fit, so I actually set it up on the front for the time being until we move that around a week later. Okay, this is the second day of having these guys, and to be honest, I really want to show them, like, so bad on, like, Facebook or Instagram or something, but I can't because I'm so scared that they'll die, and then I'll be like, yeah, I don't have those fish anymore. So, these fish are super awesome. They're 2 male mollies, but the reason I'm so worried about them is because they were in full saltwater tank, and this is right now what I'd consider brackish, and as you can see, it's not filled all the way. I'm going to slowly add more water from this tank as it goes. It has a bubbler, and it has some rocks that would have beneficial bacteria on them from this tank. And then these guys over here, here, I'll turn off the bubbler real quick. Just gotta unplug that, and then you can really see them. Oh geez, that's a really annoying noise. Anyway, this is a huge Plecostomus that I got, somewhere between 8 and 10 inches, I would say. And then under there is a Siamese algae eater. This is the bowl from that tank that I just put in here for the beneficial bacteria and stuff. And then I've been doing a water change every day since I got these guys, and that was Sunday. And then I got this tank set up, but it's really dark right now and it has tons of tannins, which is good, but like, it's alright. And then I got these. So I tell you, the guy that that's how that works, I tell you. Anyway, the guy that I got this Pleco and the Siamese algae eater, the guy was super cool. Like, he was so cool. Like, he only had a 30-gallon tank, and I think he had like a school of fish, but he had like all these cool plants, and he had cuttings from this type of pothos. So that was super cool. So he actually gave me 2 of them. Again, I got these
I got these for free, and then I got the fish for free, and I'm just trying to get them to grow here, and I really, really hope I do, because these are awesome looking, and to get these in one of my terrariums and growing them out of my filter, oh, it's gonna be so amazing. Oh, by the way, you can see that algae eater down there. I didn't really tell anybody, I guess, that I had moved that. And he's gone. No, I wasn't paying attention to where to go. He probably just went to the rock there. This tank's changing into, it'll still have the turtles, but one of the turtles is leaving, all the native fish are leaving. It'll just be 2 Siamese algae eaters and the goldfish, and I'm thinking that I'm going to add that catfish in there also, just because that should be pretty cool. Actually, maybe I won't. I don't know. But I'll have an extra heater, so I might heat this tank like partly just with like a heater that's kind of smaller, just to get it like not quite tropical, not quite like room temperature. So yeah, I'm gonna move the pleco into this 30-gallon setup temporarily, and then to a 55 setup. It's either 8 to 10 inches long, and it'd be much better to have it in this 30-gallon than the 15-gallon. Now these are the same temperature, they both have a heater in them, and not exact same water, but I'm just gonna pick it up and move it. So, yeah.
This is after a few days of quarantine.
Okay, so sorry for the sound of water, but there's a reason. Anyway, I have this guy right here, and you directly can't see him. So he is a Siamese algae eater, just like my other one that is in this tank. And what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to add not this heater, but a different heater into this tank once I get all the majority of the fish out. And I'm going to add this guy into there because I don't want him picking on my angelfish, but he'll be fine in there with the turtles. And the reason I'm not putting him in with the mollies is because the mollies are in brackish water right now, and I think he'd pick on them as well. So I'm gonna add him in here real quick, and yeah. Okay, so it's been a week or so since I last filmed for this video. This has basically been sitting for a week, and all the wood kind of got disgusting, but I kind of am glad that it did this because a lot of the tannins got out of everything. So now I'm gonna take the water all the way down to here, and I think most of the wood's actually waterlogged as well. Water all the way down to the rocks, and then I'm gonna scape it, but I'm gonna have to scape it in a way like this, so it kind of looks nice, but the rocks have to be on top of the wood if they're still floating. But this time when I scape it, I'm gonna use everything from here, everything, and then I'll fill it back up and we can put the fish in. So now I'm gonna finish emptying this out.
So I'm really happy I let this sit for a week because a lot of like mold stuff grew on the wood, so I got to vacuum that all out and a lot of the tannins out, obviously. So I'm gonna go down all the way to the rocks so we can actually lift the tank off. So I didn't have time to stop and talk, so here's the progress. So after a lot of hard work that you didn't see, we got the stand changed, and now we put the tank back on.
Okay, so now I'm going to fill this tank back up. We drained it so we can move this out, and then you can see there's 1, 2, 3 things holding up this light, and this light's actually really back right now. Like so. How it is I can just slide it forward. Can't really see because of the light, but here we go. Like that. So this is how this light will sit, and this is the wood that I had left. There was 2 pieces I took out, and then some leaves and stuff. It was pretty disgusting, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine. And then I'm gonna add all that wood and everything in this tank, except all the rocks from this tank are now in that tank, but that's another thing. And then yeah, now I'm gonna fill this back up, and then I'm gonna escape this, I think. And I feel like I want to do a separate video about this, but I changed the piece of wood on here because I don't know, there's a reason, but this should be kind of weird and different, but this video isn't about this, it's about this, so here we go.
Literally just said it wasn't about this tank, and now here's a segment of me filling it up. So, yeah, that's pretty great. So it turns out that hole in that piece of wood is actually perfect for holding the hose, which is really, really cool and helpful, as you can see right there. So I basically just scape it like a stream. That's kind of what I always kind of think of. And I got these rocks actually from a stream. I got normal river rocks and slate rocks. And once I was done scaping it, I basically just fill it up. I put the hose in a water bottle so it didn't disturb anything. Also, some of the wood floated, so I put some rocks on it.
Mollies in first. I have a cameraman today, which is pretty exciting. And I have the 2 mollies. They're both males, and I'll be adding those in first. But we're going to temperature acclimate them because the new tank might be a little bit warm. Here, you want to hold this for me? Okay, sweet. I'm good at catching fish, I promise. This is just like a huge net. Okay. Here. Okay, I have Flambeau here. That's his name. It's from Adventure Time because I'm cool like that. It's a male molly, and it's super cool. And it is now freshwater rather than salt, like they were. And then Lord Monochromicorn is hiding under this big rock, eating a sinking shrimp pellet. I'm gonna cut, and then I'll get him. Okay. So Lord Monochromicorn is also from Adventure Time. And if you are a super cool Adventure Time geek like me, then you would know that he's not all black. He's actually more like calico. So that's all right. We're gonna excuse him for having white dots. Okay, now we're gonna temperature acclimate him to the big 55 gallon. Okay, now I'm gonna get these guys out and float them in this tank while I set up the filter. Now I'm gonna be using the filter, everything that's in this filter, and I'm just gonna be putting it in one of the sides of this. So then it already have beneficial bacteria. Also, I have all the wood, some of the rocks, and the plants. So again, it should have a lot of beneficial bacteria and not have any problem with the fish going in.
Super sorry about the shaky cam. I shouldn't have had my friend hold it. I should have just let it down. I don't know what I was thinking exactly. Okay, so I did a separate video on setting up the filter just because, to be honest, I felt like a video like that would get a lot of views and I could really get into it, and because this video is already pretty long. And right now I'm just getting all the bubbles off the front of the glass, which I thought would be kind of a cool shot while the fish are acclimating. Next, I'll be adding in the mollies, and then I'll be adding in the other fish, but since I put the mollies in, like, so much longer before, I'll add them, like, way before. So, now I'm just making sure I get all the water stains off the glass, which is really something that really annoys me, and, yeah, I'm just making sure I get everything off the front and the back of the glass. So I had forgotten to add botanicals, so that's what I'm doing now. I have pin oak leaves, acorns, and pieces of walnut shell. That's basically it. Which, after boiling those botanicals, I put them in water for a while before I add them to the tank.
Okay, so though that tank is done, and it looks extremely amazing, I still have to take down these 2 fish tanks and clean up my room from being a mess. So now I'm taking down this tank, and then I'll be moving to this tank, and I'll be cleaning that gravel so I can use it for something. I think I'm going to use it, I guess we will, yeah, I think I'll be using this gravel for a different project. So, yeah, I got done with the iguanas thing. I couldn't be satisfied with my room until I finished this, and now I've decided that I'm going to do a different project, but it's much smaller, and I think I'm going to finish it tomorrow. I haven't started, so gives you an idea of how fast and easy it'll be.
So this was after much work, but I got it all done, and I'm actually not doing that project to the left of the gecko's cage because I just figured, I don't know, I was kind of getting stressed out about doing the next project and the next project, so I just decided to scrap it, and I might do something at a later date. Have a fantastic day. Hope you enjoyed this video, and enjoy life.